Okay, so today we're going deep on something I think we all deal with.
Fear. Absolutely.
And I think this is going to be a good one because we're going to be talking about Jocko Willink,
Oh, yeah.
former Navy SEAL, and we are dissecting some of his advice that he gave in an interview with CNBC, Make It.
Right.
And, you know, I think everybody listening has felt fear.
Oh, for sure.
At some point, you know that feeling when your heart is kind of in your throat?
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
when you're stepping outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I mean, stepping outside your comfort zone is
or
it's
maybe
like that's almost the definition of where fear is. Right?
totally. And the example that Willink uses is jumping out of a plane for the first time.
Okay. Yeah.
Talk about facing your fears head on.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
So, I mean, what's really fascinating is how Willink kind of highlights this disconnect between
Yeah.
how we think about fear
Yeah.
or how we perceive fear and what the actual danger is.
Yeah.
And he really points out that a lot of fear that we feel isn't necessarily rooted in reality,
Yeah.
but it's this mental construct. It's a monster that we're creating in our own minds.
It really is. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. It's like we are so good at telling ourselves stories, right?
Yes.
And our brains are these expert storytellers. And a lot of times those stories are
Yeah.
not even true, right? They're
It's
just
like our brains are going to that worst case scenario.
yeah, exactly.
Like, what's the worst possible thing?
Yes. And it's interesting because I think there's even a term for this, right? It's called catastrophizing,
Oh, yeah.
where we take a potential threat and then we just like amplify it out of control.
Yeah.
And it's that amplification
Right.
that really turns, what might be a normal level of anxiety into
Yeah.
just complete and utter fear.
So how do we break free from
Yes.
that,
Right.
fear-fueled narrative? And Willink is all about
It sounds like,
confronting fear,
yeah,
like directly.
absolutely.
He's not about avoiding it at all.
No.
He's about action.
He's about action. Yeah. And I think there's something really powerful in that because,
Yeah.
we've got this sort of like primal fight or flight response, right?
Right.
And so when we freeze, when we hesitate, we're actually giving fear the control.
Totally.
But when we act, we're kind of taking back that control and we're shifting from that frozen state into a place of power.
And he describes, standing in the open door of the plane,
Oh, wow.
1,200 feet above the ground,
Uh-huh.
wind whipping around him.
Yeah.
He doesn't sugarcoat it at all.
Right.
He talks about how raw that fear is.
Wow. And I think that's where it gets really interesting, right? Because some people
Yeah.
in that very moment, they freeze up.
Totally.
They hesitate. They cling to the,
Yeah.
relative safety of that plane.
Yeah.
And they let that fear just paralyze them.
Right.
And that's the thing about fear. It thrives in those moments of inaction,
Totally.
in that space where we don't do anything.
So what's Willink's tactic?
Yeah.
His personal tactic is he acknowledges the fear.
Okay.
He's not trying to pretend it's not there,
Yeah.
that knot in the stomach,
Right.
but he then just shifts his focus
Interesting.
to the next step to taking action.
Right.
He's choosing action or paralysis,
I love that.
stepping out of the plane.
Wow.
I mean, I think it's just such a powerful lesson in how we can actually redirect our energy.
Yeah.
It's instead of wrestling with the feeling itself,
Yeah.
channel that energy towards doing
Yeah.
what needs to be done.
And that's such a good point because it's not about erasing the feeling.
Right,
It's
yeah.
about redirecting it. And the beautiful thing about that is it's a tool that we can use for any fear. It's not
Right.
just, the fear of jumping out of a plane.
Right.
It's the fear of public speaking or, the fear of starting a new business or whatever it is.
Right.
It's about taking that feeling and channeling it into action.
So, I think it's safe to say that feeling fear is a natural part of being human.
Absolutely. It's like
Yeah.
it's wired into us
Yeah.
to keep us safe.
Right? It keeps us safe.
Yeah.
But it's what we do with that fear,
Yeah.
how we respond to it.
Right.
That's what really defines us.
That's what makes us who we are.
And I think that facing fear head on,
Yeah.
even when it feels unnatural,
Absolutely.
is the way that we can break free.
It's the way we grow.
Yeah.
I mean, it really makes you think, what fears have I been kind of letting fester
Right.
by hesitating, by not taking action?
Totally.
What would happen if I took that first step, that leap of faith?
Right.
What would it feel like to move from a place of fear into a place of freedom?
It's a great question, and it's something that I hope all of our listeners will think about
Yeah, me too.
this week
Absolutely.
and beyond.
Definitely.
So thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.